Hi, I'm the artist behind Cocoo Island. You can call me the butler. In the past, if you've, been here before, you'll notice that my videos from before are gone. But that's because I decided to change things up and I wanted to remove the things that happened in the past so I can have some free space to work on the things that I'm, currently working on now. It's also because it's a completely different style. I didn't want it to be confusing for people. So that's why I removed it. So moving forward, every Wednesday on a rotational basis, it's going to be kind of like this, like a podcast background chatter situation for 1 week. And then the week after that, it'll be like a work with me kind of situation. Like I'll be drawing and creating new, assets or, I don't know if assets is the right word, but definitely like something new for Cocoo Island that's like lore accurate. Like it's canon for Cocoo Island. And that's just, what I'm going to be doing. And then at the end of the month, or at least one time a month, I'll be dropping like a really, 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 really short clip of Kitten Dino. Just like a little lore drop. I'm not good at animating. It still takes me a long time to animate, like 30 seconds. So that's why I can't do those drops as often. I'm making comics. Those are obviously much easier for me to do because I don't have to animate. So that's just what you can kind of expect. Now, the first topic kind of elaborates what's been going on. By the time I publish this video, you'll notice that in my social media and on my Etsy that I've kind of made a long blurb. This video kind of goes over or like elaborates on why I did what I did. But before I get into it, I want you to know this is a full discretion. This is just my personal experience and what it's been like for me specifically running Cocoo Island. Whether or not you have had or are having a similar experience, like if you can relate or not, I still hope you will enjoy this chat, because I'm here for background chatter and I don't want to bore you. So here I am. Okay, so I kind of need to go back to the beginning, which was around 2018. That's when I started selling on Etsy. I've been on Etsy for a long time. Like, damn. Cocoo Island definitely wasn't born yet. It was from yours truly studio. Because back then I did calligraphy work and I taught calligraphy online and in person. So everything was about lettering. I didn't do any graphic art or anything like that because I was the traditional type. And pencil crayons and pencils were the way to go for me since I was 5. And then I was introduced to Procreate and digital art in 2017 and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll give this a go. And then I launched my Etsy. And I was like, you know what? I'm not tied to anything, so this is great. Except it wasn't great because the topic was so broad, and some of you might be able to relate. But when the topic is so broad, it's actually very hard to be creative. For me, because it's kind of like there's too many doors to open. I don't know which door I want to open. So then I'm just sitting there going like, oh, okay, thank you. I'm stuck now. So that's what it was kind of like. I was doing it. I was having some fun, but it wasn't like fun when I was selling online. Like I was selling my calligraphy cards and stuff like that. But, it made some money, and selling cat stickers did sell, or make some money for me. But if you know the type of person that I am, you'll know that I'm actually very, very anxious. I'm very lucky to have no, Etsy cases opened against me. But that's also because I'm kind of a pushover. So I go, 10 steps further to make sure that the person is happy, just so they don't open a case against me because, I'm scared. I get really scared when I get a message, whether or not it's a help request or if it's just a question about my listing, the second the message pops up, I get scared. So yeah, I obviously chose to sell on Etsy rather than selling my own website. Because I didn't have my own website. And the reason is because I didn't want to like work on my own traffic. Etsy already has an audience and it's huge audience. So I was like, oh, I'll just, work on Etsy, and it's working right now. So why not? And that's when I continued selling on Etsy for a couple of years. And then that's when Kit and Dino were born, because I was like, oh, maybe I should, make my own characters so I don't have to, always draw random cats. Because there's only so many cat patterns out there. Well, I mean, there's actually a lot of cat patterns out there. I just didn't want to draw every single one of them. And I always wanted to create a story anyways, so I created Kit and Dino. That's when my creativity basically accelerated. I think I went from 20 listings or so to well over 250, like close to 300 different listings. They're all sticker, like majority of them are like 90% are stickers, because I was able to draw them in different scenarios, and it was great. Like it was just all Kit and Dino stuff, all Cocoo Island stuff, and the income was actually pretty good too, because I was able to, create these two characters. Mind you, at that time though, they were just characters. They had nothing else other than a name. That was it. And it was okay because things were still selling. But a few years later, that's when I started feeling that pressure, because I started running out of ideas. I can only draw Kit and Dino going to the grocery so many times or studying so many times before people get bored. So then I started running out of ideas. And then I'm like, maybe I should take a break. Not just like from my work, but just like, go on vacation or something like that. So for those of you who don't know, and it's not like explicitly said, but Etsy really rewards the shops that consistently upload. Not like constantly upload, but just consistently upload on Etsy. And since I was doing that, my income was okay. That's why I thought it'd be okay for me to go on vacation. But that's also where I found out that you really shouldn't put your shop on vacation, sorry. There's many forums, and I don't know if it's still the same situation because it was like 4 years ago. But people are like, don't put your shop on vacation because like your traffic will just go to shit. And against my better judgment, I still put it on vacation because I didn't want to think about work while I was in Japan. But you still needed to answer Etsy messages, which is like a little cursed. So when I came back, 2 weeks before vacation, I took vacation for 2 weeks, but just before that, my Etsy was completely fine. Like my income was okay. Like it was decent enough for me to keep going and, not lose hope or anything like that. When I came back, my traffic dropped 80%. I continued pushing with uploading things on a regular basis. I continued doing what I was doing, if not a little bit more, and it never recovered. To this day, it has not recovered. And that was like demoralizing. I ended up having really, really, really poor inventory control, which is 100% my fault because I didn't have the income and I didn't want to make more products to take photos of it. So I started uploading things digitally. And if you ordered something from me, I would literally have made it to order, which made fulfilling orders really painful because I just like it made from working on an order that would take 5 minutes to it actually taking 25 to 30 minutes. And I know that 100% is on me because of my lack of organization. And then I was still working on it. I was still trying to make e-commerce work. But working from home was really, really difficult. Like I started working from home full time in 2022, I think. Yeah, 2022. I'm just gonna say 2022 because it feels like it's 2022, so I'll just say that. And I tried getting professional help to figure out what was going on. I don't mean like a business coach or anything like that. I mean like I tried getting like, or I went, like I've always had a therapist, but I started talking to my therapist about like how I wasn't getting anything done. And it was not just work stuff. It was just like anything in my life. Nothing was getting done. And we were trying to figure it out. My therapist suggested a lot of things to me, and it always worked, and it just didn't work after a while. And then the topic of like, maybe I should get tested. Like that happened for like some time. And then I always just went like, okay, I don't want to get tested for ADHD or anything like that. I don't like tests. But then my doctor was suggesting it, and I was like, bruh. So I finally got tested for it. The process was long, and it came back positive. And then I also went, bruh, because like I kind of knew something must have been up, but you know, I don't want to be on meds. But now I'm on meds and it's working. So I guess it's good. And my creativity came back, which is great. But then my crave towards creating a story outgrew my ability to like build a story while trying to fix my online shop. Keep in mind, it's been like 2 years of me trying to fix my shop. And the one thing that kept me going was the fact that people still complimented me on my packaging. But it was still like soul draining. Like every time, okay, that sounds really bad. But every time I got an order, because of my lack of organization, again, I know 100% my fault, it made every single order very anxiety inducing, or like there was that, you know, when something happens, you get a notification and you're just like, ugh. That's basically what happened every time I got an order. I'm not saying I don't appreciate those customers. I really am. But I just hated myself because of the lack of organization. So I'm just like, my brother, I need to figure out what it is that I want to do. And I unfortunately didn't have the time for that, because in January of 2025, after I got, diagnosed with ADHD, more stuff started coming out. And again, that is on me, because when you ignore your body telling you, hey, we're a little anxious, we're a little stressed, and we're very, very tired, and you ignore that, at some point, it's not a if, it is a when. At some point, your body is gonna look at you, it's gonna see that you're standing on a carpet, and then it's just gonna like pull that carpet right under you, and then you're gonna fall, and it's gonna laugh at you while you just suffer. So that's exactly what happened. I ended up, not okay. I added one medication, and then another medication, and then another medication, and then like more and more and more. My bills, bruh, it like skyrocketed because of all these medications. I do have benefits, but still, it's not fun. Cause damn, this conversation turned kind of deep, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And so, yeah, that happened. I increased my therapy because I financially, emotionally, mentally was not okay. My husband was doing the best that he could, but obviously I didn't want to put that on him, because, I want to be responsible as well and try to figure things out. At this time, I hope you know that, as I was still sick, I wanted to make stories of Kit and Dino, I was still hung up on working on my online shop and bringing it back to its golden days. Dude, I have issues, man. I don't know why I worked on it for so long, but at one point, I just went like, you know what? This ain't it. So I dropped it. I decided that there's no point for me, just like specifically me, to work on something that's, one, giving me anxiety, two, hindering me from giving you guys happy content and smiley content and funny content and stressing about it. Like, I got nothing done just because I felt guilty about working on a story, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I shouldn't work on the story. I should work on this so I can post it online. Da 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 da. I was still going to cons too, and people loved like their lore and asked me, you know, when's the next time I talk a little bit more about Kit and Dino? I'll be like, you know, soon. And then I go home and then I worry about my Etsy, which is crazy. So moving forward, I'll be focusing on this channel. I'll be focusing on creating animations of Kit and Dino. And again, I'm very slow at animating. Like, it still takes me like a while to create just 30 seconds. So those monthly lore drops are definitely going to be under a minute, maybe even under 30 seconds. Lol. And that's just, you know, what I'm planning on doing. And yeah, I'm going to take things slow. I'm still going to update my shop, but rather than calling it a shop update, I'm just going to call it an inventory drop. So if I'm selling on, like, at cons, and whatever I have left over, I'll just put that aside, and then I'll sell that on the shop, like on the website, like Etsy or whatever, and then I'll adjust it accordingly. So it's going to be very, 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 very limited drops. I'm talking about, like, if I have one sticker design, there might only be 2 pieces of it available, but at least it's there. And if I sell it, then I'll just remove it. If I sell it in person or whatever, is just gone. This year, not only do I want to focus on building the story of Cocoo Island and the assets and different projects, I definitely want to focus on my health, because I feel like that's the best way for me to give you guys the best content that I can. Because I feel like if I give you guys a story while I'm dying, like, it's just not gonna be good. So I'm gonna prioritize on that. I will do my best to give you guys as many updates as possible. I'll try to stay, like, dude, I'm gonna try so hard to stay on schedule. I have Trello opened up. I have, you know, all these things. I bought new, like, inventory control thing. Okay, not really new. I've actually had them for a long time. I just never used it. And it's like these little slot pockets where I can put my sticker designs in it. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna do everything slowly but properly this time, so I'm not, you know, working against my body. And that's where we're at. That's where I'm at. And that's what I'm gonna do. So next week, I'll give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. So next week, what I'm gonna be doing is a work with me. So it's kind of like behind the scenes. I'm basically going to be creating like assets for Cocoo Island, and the first one's going to be called a sprawl, because I realized that my stories have a lot of plot holes, so I need to fill in those plot holes before I can, you know, create like whole books about them or whatever. But yeah, next week on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the sprawl, because that was the first creature I thought about. It's our very first monster of Cocoo Island. And I'm very, very excited for it. you'll notice that there's probably a lot of mistakes in these clips. I want to keep these as raw as possible. So however long it's gonna be, it is what it is. I'm not really gonna cut anything. I just want to say everything that I need to say. I want to be. I'm still gonna try. If I screw up a take or whatever, I'll redo it. But then I want it to be a one take, and then I don't edit anything other than like editing out maybe some noises that were made, and I'll do it like that because this is background chatter. You're not supposed to focus on what I'm saying. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. I'm just glad to be here, you know? I'm just glad to be here. Yes, I am much happier doing it this way. If, there's no advice, but if there's one advice that I want to tell you is that if something's not working out for you and you've tried your damn hardest, just I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, dude, trust me. I know it's easier said than done because I was there. I technically still am there, but just let it go and do something else because I'm doing that. And I don't think I've ever felt this level of happiness in the last 4 years of my life. So yeah, that's my one advice for you, is to do what makes you happy. There. Once again, I'm the artist of the Cocoo Island world, Kitten Dino's butler, and I'll chat with you guys next time. Bye!